Alright, what's going on, PPL fans? We got your power rankings for Division 1 of the Season 6 of the Week 2 we're on now? Yeah, because I totally skipped Week 1. And this week I'm actually joined by...
It's Baby Eric, guys. Sorry about last week. That was mainly my fault. But had some family issues and I wasn't able to record, and then Chog didn't really want to do it by himself, but we're here now, and we're here for our Week 2 power rankings. And let's just get started.
Yeah, let's just get started. Anyway, so Week 1 was a fun week. I'm sure you checked out all your favorite coaches' battles and stuff, and I'm sure you did the same for Week 2. So, let's go on and get into where we've placed everyone after the second week of the battles.
So starting at number 12, you have the Maryland Torterrapins. I have the Osaka EVs. Let's just start with the Torterrapins.
Yeah, so I totally understand why you've got the Osaka EVs down low, but I've also got my reasons for having the Torterrapins down low as well. Mostly because it's like, it just seemed to me, I'm done with this, and I've got no reason to put in any effort to this game.
Yeah, it was something that we should note is that this is Kelly's last week in the PPL. He'll be replaced by Omega Jolteon starting week 3. So be sure to tune into Omega Jolteon's channel tomorrow for that battle. But I didn't put Kelly at 12 for this reason. I was very impressed with some of this prep. He brought some very interesting stuff like Gravity, Diancie into Earthquake, Dougie to trap stuff like the Bronzong. It didn't quite pan out, but I was really impressed with the prep that he had. I thought he brought some very cool sets that could have worked out, and he had chances at some points where maybe he could have done something, whereas with Colton, he kind of just lost from turn 1.
Yeah, there were definitely some interesting sets on Kelly's part. I was a little bit confused by the Gravity, but I do understand how that works with the Doug Trio trapping. But then again, I do believe Kyle had Shed Shell on a couple things to get around that.
Yeah, he had Shed Shell on the Bronzong, expecting that.
But it was still just, I didn't see any real effort put into the playing. Like, the prep was okay, but the actual playing was given up. But I do agree that Colton did just kind of lose turn 1 with the webs, and he, rather than bringing a defog Scizor, he brought a banded one, and then he just wasn't able to have anything to outspeed and kill
the Manaphy, or even anything to take a hit and kill back. He just kind of lost immediately. There was no point in the match was his opponent experiencing any pressure at all from Colton. Colton just kind of was very reactionary and wasn't putting any pressure at all on his opponent, and Ruby kind of just fisted him in the asshole.
Yeah, just kind of did what he does. I just kind of expect Ruby to either win really big or lose really big. I mean, we haven't seen that yet, so it's just he's playing the way I expect him to play. Yeah. Last week 1, he did pretty well with his walls, I believe. Like Mega Aggron, I think, won him the game in week 1, and this week it was just a combination of Galvantula and Stampede that just beat Colton very handily.
Now let's talk about Shoddy and his
Shoddy.
Munich.
Bayern Munich.
He choked the game away completely.
He basically pressed play and forgot how to play Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I want to wish you a happy retirement. I don't know what the legal retirement age is in Germany these days, but you've reached whatever it is for Pokemon. So
I mean, it's a socialist country, so it's probably really early.
Probably really early. So yeah, happy retirement, Shoddy.
Happy retirement, Shoddy. Yeah, he had some very cool sets. He brought some cool stuff. He had Electric Seed on the Reuniclus for the Halusha, which was very cool. But he had a very good chance to win at the end, but he sacked his win condition, for no reason at all, and that's kind of inexcusable.
There were a couple of things that I did like about the way he played. First of all, bringing Toxic Spike from the Venom off really hecked up his opponent. Basically being unable to set up with certain things and putting a lot of pressure. I did not like that he switched his Steelix into Zed Tapu Koko, because you're basically going to get, literally giant electric fisted and lose 75% of health. That was just unnecessary damage on your thickest guy.
I mean, I think that was his only real switch in that case. He does, look at Tri-Seam and look at Tapu Koko. Doesn't really have anything to switch in, and Steelix was pretty much only there for Tapu Koko. So I understand why he did that, and Guardian of Alola was a good bring on his part. It's not seen that often.
It was a fantastic bring, for sure.
Yeah. I don't really fault Shoddy for that play. It didn't work out for him, but given his prep, Shoddy really had absolutely nothing for Tapu Koko, and just his team alone, Tapu Koko fits him. So.
Right.
Anyways, that's Shoddy. He played so far.
And we already touched on Colton. I had him at number 10 here.
Yeah.
I know his performance wasn't great, but for me, having him at number 10 wasn't so much about him moving up, but more the other two just moving down.
Yeah, I understand that. But let's just go on to our number 9, which we both have Ellie and her Accrington Stantler.
Yeah.
She played a fantastic game. That's pretty much all I can say. She's the best performing out of the 0-2 teams. She should have won this week, except for a last turn crit, which is very unfortunate. She brought good prep. She brought an offensive Life Orb Tentacle, which could have worked out really well, but unfortunately didn't because of how she played with it. But I was impressed by her prep. She played really well with the bulky Victini to help check his threats, and last turn she would have won the game, except for crit. So
I was a huge fan of Dublade this game. I'm in general just a huge fan of Dublade. Whenever I watch draft streams, whoever gets Dublade, I'm like, yeah, okay, you got Dublade, congratulations, you're going to win this season. That's just the way I see that mon. It's just cool, you're going to win. I think she played that very well. Yeah, I did like the offensive tentacle, but I personally think a Scar Tentacle would have done better. It really didn't do very well early game, unfortunately.
Yeah, she didn't make the predictions when she needed to, and I agree a Scarf would have been better to help check the arrow, because she didn't have anything, I believe, that outsped it, which is quite it's not the best idea when facing Mega Arrow to not have anything that can outspeed to check it offensively, but still, she played a great game. She would have won without the last turn crit, which you really can't fault her for. I was impressed with how she played this week. She played much better than week 1, and I was impressed with her progress, and that's why I put her at the top of the 0-2 teams.
Yeah, for sure. I don't believe Ellie's side was up at the time of our recording.
No, it's not.
But watching the Jack side was a lot of fun. I thought. It was a great game.
It was a good game to watch. It was fun to watch. And I believe we both also have the same number 8 with Ethan and the Tennessee Dynamos.
Yeah, Ethan, Tennessee Dynamos. So we talked about him versus Bayern Munich earlier.
Yep.
He did pull out with the win on this game. Towards the end of the game, Shoddy just kind of forgot how to play Pokemon. Obviously, he was able to preserve his win con well enough to take advantage of that in the end win.
Yeah.
What did you think about the Necrozma set that he brought?
I thought it was quite interesting. What was it again? It was SD, Moonlight, Phonedizer, EQ?
Yeah, but the way he played it, after he switched into a layer of Toxic Spikes, I thought Necrozma was just played somewhat poorly.
Yeah. I think it definitely could have done so much work, especially with the Steelix down, but if you look at Ethan's team, he actually has very little for Calm Mind or OTs. In what he brought, he had 0 fairy resist and not much many special sponges that could take a hit because he didn't bring in offensive Kangaskhan. He really struggled to break through this, and I think that getting the damage on it was kind of necessary for him. I don't think it was the best way he could have done it. I think Necrozma, if he saved it, could have been a great win con, and it was pretty much his only check for the lock. So I wasn't a big fan of how he played it like that. I understand his thought process and why he played it the way he did, but I don't think it was a good move.
It worked out for him in the end for sure.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got Mega Lop on you. It just is a necessary thing that you should keep around for when you need it. But given that the toxic spikes were pressuring him so much and he was just unable to remove those hazards, the way, like you said, the way he needed to play that game, Necrozma was kind of necessary to just get that immediate damage and go down.
Yeah. I also think that his play turn 1 with not even the thought of Scarf Venomoth not even crossing his mind was kind of unfortunate. And again, if Shoddy didn't sack his Megalop later in the game, he would have just won. He could have sacked Venomoth, gone into Feraligatr, and then either set up and won or set up and won. And then
towards the end of the game,
back.
he had 2 win cones out of the time, both Lop and Feraligatr. I believe there was that one scenario that he was able to win with Gator as well, but just deciding to keep Venomoth over Lopunny lost in the game, and Ethan played well, I guess, but nothing special. I was a bit lackluster, and he could have easily been 0-2 if Shoddy had made the correct plays and remembered how to play Pokemon. So that's why he's number 8. So you're number 7. You've got Tampa Bay Luxrays.
I do.
And Monotui.
Yeah. Now Mono is a fantastic player, but this week I was not impressed at all with how he played. He forgot happiness on Mega Pinsir, which I totally understand. Totally understand that, but not even going for the return is kind of like... I didn't understand why he went into Mega Pinsir when he knew he didn't have happiness, when he had other things that could have revenged it. Revenged the Vikavolt after it took out the Komodo. And so at
the time of our recording, I don't believe Mono has uploaded his week.
He has not. He's been going through
So we don't know if he found out there was a lack of happiness before the game started or after. But either way, the Mega Pinsir play, regardless of if happiness was there or not, was a very questionable play.
Yeah. It was very questionable.
Because looking at Paul's team composition, Vikavolt, he didn't need it at all. So there is no reason for Monotui to over-predict around it. It should have been like, yeah, I can just get rid of this. But Paul just had a very strong first few turns in the game, just putting in the damage with Vikavolt. And it was from there that Mono was just on the back foot pretty much.
Yeah. Another play that I want to note out is Mono had a Landorus behind a sub, and he actually had bulk versus a Druddigon, and he actually had bulk up. And if he had gone for the bulk up, he kind of would have just won the game from there, because he would have had the Landorus still behind the sub because Dragon Tail did not break its sub, and he would have had a bulk up, and Paul would have had to sack one of his opponent Mons to break the sub from Lando T, and then Mono would have been in a great position. So that was definitely a turning point in the match, for my opinion.
It was definitely an interesting Landorus set that was brought, because it was a bulky Landorus, but also a set of Landorus, which you generally run one or the other.
Yeah.
So having the sort of in between, it would have been really interesting to see it work, but unfortunately it didn't work when it very well could have. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much all I have to say about Mono. He didn't play terribly, but his prep wasn't there, and didn't take the time, and he made a couple misplays. And Paul's definitely a great player, but
and Paul mentioned in his set of battle, just for some reason he has this thing where he always wins against Mono. So maybe that was just him like, oh, if I'm gonna lose, I might as well be against Paul because I always lose against Paul. Ha. So.
Anyways, let's just go on to let's talk about Trev and the
we've got a pretty big disparity. Well,
yeah, our first disparity here.
Yeah, I've got Trev at number 7. You've got him at number 4.
Yeah. So why don't you talk about why you have him so low?
Try again.
What?
Just try again, Trev. Try again.
Okay. Yeah, I was very impressed with how Trev played this early game. He had all the momentum in the world. He sacked the wrong mon at the wrong time, and he couldn't get a prediction right late game to save his life. It's pretty much all.
This game, I just saw it as a lot of like non-stop 50-50. Well, definitely the end game was just like every single turn
was a prediction, and Trev got every single one of them wrong. And if he'd just gotten one of them right, he would have won the game.
Or if he had gotten his double protect at the end of the game, he would have won it.
Yeah, I was impressed with Trev's prep in his play, except for around the Exadrill, not even considering Scarf Exadrill. I mean, I understand it because it is an Exadrill on a sand team because he had the T-Tar, but even still, like, just switch it out. You have still a Steela. Just switch it out.
Yeah, it was definitely definitely played well, just got very unlucky in this game and made some bad predictions. I thought the whole time Better Jack was just out predicting him left and right.
Yeah, and he in the early game I think that Trev definitely outplayed him early game, but then to make up from it in the mid to late game, Better Jack put on his big boy pants and predicted him every turn pretty much.
The real big boy pants.
Real big boy pants. So Trev, you played. I was very impressed with his early game, and you make the choke. It happens to everyone.
Yeah. Try again.
Yeah, try again. Now let's talk about my numbers. Another disparity. My number 6 and your number 3.
Yeah. We've got Polymac. Paul.
I feel that this wasn't that Paul played a great game. It was that Mono just kind of forgot how to play Mons and didn't make any predictions. Paul had solid prep and kind of just rode it to victory. And I wasn't super impressed with how he played this week. I wasn't disappointed with how he played this week. I mean, a win's a win. I was very disappointed with how he played last week. I thought it was very subpar play. And that's why he's number 6. That's why he's barely in the top half. I mean, he played good, but he didn't play great, in my opinion.
It was definitely, like you said, he didn't have the most formidable opponent this week. Monarchy was a fantastic player, but he did not have a fantastic week this week. But I didn't see it at any point in the battle where Paul was making like bad plays. He definitely had his head in the game. He made all the right plays, I believe, throughout this game, and he knew what he needed to do to win, and I had no reason to have him any lower than where he was this week.
Yeah, I understand that. I just viewed it as he didn't play great. He didn't super impress me, so I saw no reason to bump him up that much. I bumped him up a little from last week because he did win. He did win against an impressive opponent. Not necessarily this week was Mono an impressive opponent, but overall he is. So I brought him up. I bumped him up 2 spots. Forgive me, I forgot how to speak for a second.
Yeah, just like someone forgot that Como got Stealth Rocks, am I right?
Yeah, he forgot that Como got Stealth Rocks, so yeah, another reason why I don't have Paul that high. But let's just go into another agreement final again. We both have Jack and the Norwich Skitty at number 5.
Yeah, so like we said earlier, Jack got, what was it, 5 crits that game?
Yeah, 5 or 6. 5 crits, and he got an important late game one that absolutely won him the game.
Yeah, and the first 4 didn't matter at all, and the last one basically won him the game.
Yeah.
But I don't want that in any way to take away from the way he played. I thought he played a fantastic game this week. He's got literal balls of steel that not even Clefable's Babiri Berry could break. Say that 10 times fast.
I was impressed with how he played Lucario this game. He definitely set it up so that he could do cool things late game. But he's 2-0, but by the skin of his teeth. He won 1-0 week 1, and he won 1-0 week 2 to a crit. So it's like, it's kind of hard to put him super high because I still feel like Jack has to prove himself a little bit. I bumped him up a bit from the power rankings where I had him at 8. Last week I had him at 5. This week I'm keeping him at 5. I feel he played okay. He did cool things. He won. And, I mean, a win's a win, but by the skin of his teeth.
And I did note there was a point in the game when he had in Lucario that he could have gone for agility to win the game. Just flat out. But he didn't, and he never really explained why. It was just like, oh, I could have gone for agility here, but I didn't. And because of that, he then had to switch out Lucario to Berserker for later and rely on Aerodactyl to win him the way he did. So I was very confused why he didn't do that based on the position he was in at the time of the game.
Yeah.
He could have won 100% rather than what's the percentage of...
It's 1 in 24, which is 4-something%.
So I was a little bit confused by that.
Yeah.
But I do, still, 2-0, but just kind of at the lower end of the 2-0 teams for me.
Yeah, I still think that Jack has to prove himself a little bit more this season. I wasn't too sold on his team. He's been playing all right. He has been making some great predictions, but I still want to see a little more out of Jack, maybe a dominant win or something of the sort. Now let's go on to your number 4 team, my number 2 team, Ruby Marrow, also known as Trevor, and his Travis, and his Cleveland Bros. I know his TR end with a V.
So we talked about this game earlier with Colton.
Yeah.
And how, what's a Manaphy counter?
Yeah, no.
He just immediately looked at the team composition and knew exactly how to win, and he did it.
Yeah, he only 3 Pokemon hit the field this game. On his side, he had Galvantula, Hoopa, and Manaphy. That was all he needed. He just kind of wiped the floor with Colton. He had complete control of the game the entire time. I think that he's had 2. This was definitely a very dominant win, and last week he had a nice win against a respected opponent in Shoddy. It was a bit controversial because Shoddy said there was some hacks that mattered. There was a little bit of hacks, but I'm not sure how much it mattered. But this was definitely a statement win, and I was very impressed with how Colton played.
Yeah, I know that Ruby tends to favor hyper-offensive teams, and when he wins big. So it looks like a very commanding win, but just because I know that's the way he tends to play, it's not as impressive as if someone else were to get a 4-0. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
I don't think it's exactly the score that made it so impressive. I think it was how the game played out. How
he had he definitely had control of the game, but that's also in part because Colton just didn't.
Yeah, Colton has a lot of proving him. He has to prove himself this season because he's not off to an impressive start.
But I'm not going to take anything away from this win.
Yeah.
But yeah, number 3, it's still. Well, I haven't. No, do I have him at number 4?
You have him at number 4.
Sorry.
Yeah, you have him at number 4. You have Paul above him.
That's right.
Okay. Now let's. But you done with talking about Ruby? Let's move on to.
Yeah.
Okay. So at number 3, I have Better Jack and his Melbourne Victory Star. You have him at number 2. Better Jack played a fantastic late game. He was inside Trev's head. He put on his big boy pants. He was inside Trev's head.
Better Jack who said big boy pants in the commentary. I think it was Better Jack, not Blue Jack. Who said
I didn't actually watch Better Jack's side. I only watched Trev's side. Sorry, I didn't have a ton of time this week. I apologize. But the only reason I don't have him at number 2, I think he definitely could have been at number 2, is because he played a very poor early game, I think. He definitely put himself in a very bad position early. He put on his big boy pants late game, but like even if one thing had gone wrong for him, he was in a very precarious position, and you don't always want to put yourself in that position, and it wasn't very commanding the entirety of the game, which is why I have him below Ruby, who definitely had control the entire game.
There definitely was a point in the game where he mentioned he miscounted the Sandstorm turns. And therefore wasn't able to get the Sandstorm KO on Charizard, and had to it was at that point where he got the KO with Rapid Spin, but had to sack Tyranitar without having to stand up at that point. Where if he had counted the Sandstorm turns, it would have been, he would have had much more control on the game. But just made the error and had to resort to winning like these really insane predictions throughout the rest of the match, which if you got one wrong, you lose. But he happened to get them all right. And I thought he was making really fantastic predictions the entire game, even if it didn't look like he was having such a strong early game. But he definitely, wore his big boy pants here.
Yeah. This is why I showed on Better Than Wi-Fi. You don't have to count sanction turns, and it's very clear what turn you're on. So, make PPL a showdown league, please.
Well, the Wi-Fi graphics are.
Who cares? Who cares?
I care.
It's so hard to record them. Just like. If you could like watch the matches on like online, then maybe I get a Wi-Fi league, but it's just too much effort. Just put it on Showdown. It's so easy. You don't have to gen Pokemon. You can just like type them up and play a match, and it's not like it's ugly. I don't know. All right, but enough with that. Let's go on to I guess both of our number ones.
Both of our number ones. Yeah, cool. Good job, Kyle.
Yeah, nice job. Is that about it? That was just it for our week 2 power rankings.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but for real, Kyle, I mean, he's been playing great. He has a fantastic team. He's been playing well. He predicted the Gravity Diancie, who does that? He played fantastic. He identified his win cons. He was dominant the entire game. It was a big win.
Yeah, he even figured out right away, I've got weakness policy diagram. Miltank has punch. Wow, it's even better set up punch.
Yeah. Granted, he hasn't played against the best caliber of opponents yet. His opponents are both 0-2. But next week he actually plays Jack. He plays the Norwich Skitty. So this could be a proving week for Jack, or a way for Kyle to just solidify his dominance. So I'm interested to see how that turns out. Sorry if I messed up names there. I think I might have, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Anyway, he's just definitely having, as far as I see, the most commanding performance in the league. Zygarde, I believe at this time, has the number 1 kills throughout the league, and for good reasons. It's got the best move in the game, and he just knows how to play it so well and make it his win con whenever.
Yeah. So hopefully something shakes out next week. I'd love to see an interesting game between Jack and Kyle. See Jake show some dominance, show that he belongs at number 1 or number 2, or Kyle to have a dominant win and show that he really is the best player in the league right now. But I'm interested to see how next week's matches go, and you guys should all check them out tomorrow on Coach's respective channels.
Yeah, and to do that, what you gotta do? You gotta hit that subscribe button on the PPL channel. You gotta go down to all of your coaches' links in the description and sub to every one of them. Those matches should be going up on Monday, which is tomorrow, because I'm gonna try to get this uploaded on Sunday. So check out all your coaches, check out everyone's links in the descriptions. We've also got all of our analysts and our D2 members as well. So that's a great way that you can help out the coaches. And if you disagree with us in any way, shape, or forms, post that down in the comments. Let us know what your power rankings are for the week if you've been keeping up with everyone.
Yep. So
yeah, and until then,
see you all next week with our weekly power rankings, hopefully. Bye.
all right, see you later.
See you.